Hi everybody, my name is Joyce Bok from Salubrious Events, and we focus on subjects which are on the outer edge but are emerging into our society, and I guess subjects that are of benefit to us and to the community. Today I want to talk about the being a man in these times, and in particular the woke man. And I will be talking to Omar Coles here, who is a mentor and a life coach. And he also coaches underprivileged kids that come from dysfunctional families in basketball, giving them a lot of confidence and self-esteem. Omar comes with a lot of experience. So he's done over 18 years of self-development. He's worked in the Navy, he's traveled the world. He is from Cleveland, Ohio, US, but has lived in Australia for quite some time now.
Yeah. 2011.
Yeah. So he comes with a whole wealth of wisdom and knowledge. So I guess maybe in the last, I'm not sure, maybe 10 years or so, or maybe even longer, there seems to be this emerging type of man. And I know I'm generalizing here and we might be talking about stereotypes, but just for the purpose of this conversation, we may just have to generalize. So I'm just thinking about, in the past we've had the Marlborough or the John Wayne type of cowboy men, maybe in the 50s, and then it went into more in the 80s and 90s, the yuppies, and then the snag, the new age sensitive guy. There's lots of different types of, I guess, what society has put out as role models. But in recent years, there's this, I guess, concept of the woke man. And I'd like to borrow from The Matrix, the movie. So my definition of someone that's woke is, I guess, someone who has swallowed the red pill from that movie. And so someone that is starting to question the narrative, the conventional narrative, and not believing everything we are being told from the mainstream. And really, I guess, waking up to that there might be other agendas going on. Something just doesn't feel right here. And so I'm curious to know, Omar, what's your definition of a woke man?
Wow. A woke man. I believe a woke man is someone who just questions everything.
Uh-huh.
A woke man is a person who would do some introspection, look
Uh-huh.
within and say, "Hold up," like you said, something's just quite not right here.
Uh-huh.
But when you look back through all of those terms, like when you said John Wayne, the Marlboro Man, if you really look back at these are like icons or images that were sold to us.
Uh-huh.
And we kind of we rallied behind it. But like if you've ever seen the billboard with the Marlboro Man, you don't actually you see the hat, you see the rope, and then you see a cigarette about to be lit, and it's like there's no face to it. It's just this is what a man does, and and these are images. Like I said, these are icons that were provided for us, and now we've come full circle, and we're in this world where the situations are so similar, like with the whole Black Lives Matter,
Mm.
the with apartheid. These are the same things that were given to us then, and we're here now. So it's almost like I literally have to do some retrospect and look in here because these icons, they no longer serve me. They
Uh-huh.
no longer serve us. So yeah, the woke man is like you said. He said you take the blue pill, you fall asleep. You you wake up in your bed, you think whatever you like. You take the red pill, you see just how deep the rabbit hole goes. And even in the Matrix, he said, I can't tell you what it is. I can only show you. So now we're at that red pill point where if we call it woke man, we are at that point where we follow the icons and we rallied behind the Marlboro man. We rallied behind all of these images and John Wayne. But look where we are. Look at where we are right now. Something's got to change. And that change can't come from out here. It has to come from in here.
Right. So going back to who we are, finding out. So the woke man is someone that's not looking to the outside to follow certain icons anymore. Is that right? And yeah.
It's like it's true change has to come from within.
Mm-hmm.
If you tell me what change is, and you tell me that I need to do this and I need to follow that and I need to do and I do all of these things, but the results are not what I expect, then where am I? What do I have? It's like you've just been sold another bill of goods versus, okay, look where I'm at. Look at the world around me and how do I fit in it? Do I like what I see? Do I like what I see in the mirror? Do I like where I'm going? That's what a woke man does. In my interpretation of someone who's woken up is someone who's woken up and say, something has to change. And I can't say, Joy, you got to change it for me. Because if you do it for me, I get nothing. If you never teach me how to tie my shoes, and you tie my shoes every day, what happens when you're not home and my shoe becomes untied? And guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna blame you for failing me because you weren't there when I needed you. But had you taught me from the beginning, wait a minute. Not only can I tie my shoes, by now I've learned several different ways to tie it. Maybe I don't like that bow. Maybe I want a different bow. Maybe I want a different knot. And this is how the woke man will come about. Like those icons that you mentioned. Those are, what if John Wayne? What if I'm a man, but I don't feel the need to be a John Wayne type of a man? So what icon do I back? These are things that you have to look inside and you have to declare who do you want to be? I ask the kids on the court all the time, who do you want to be? And you can't wait till tomorrow to decide who that person's going to be. You live it every day. So, yeah.
So then it's really not very, it can be quite undefined because it comes from within.
It can be defined. I think it's very defined, but before you get to that point, you're defining it. It's almost like a sculpture. When you first get the block in front of you, you just have this rectangular block. You have an idea of what it's going to look like, but as you start to chisel away from it, it starts to take form. So in my mind, I can say, oh, I want to create this. What if I make a cut that's too deep? Do I throw the whole block out, or do I just keep going with what I have and define it more and more and more? Because when you really take a look at a woke man, a woke man is an adjective. It defines a man, but how awake are we? Like, I consider myself to be enlightened. I consider myself to be just another adjective, really, but I consider myself to be someone that can go into depth about a situation. I consider myself to be very optimistic. I can see your point of view and I can see mine. And I can see that if our points of views clash, okay, how do we get our points of views to go here? I consider myself that. But more important, I consider myself to be a learner because I don't have all the answers. I'm here. So I can't really define it with a absolute definition because once you become this and it's absolute, this is the definition, then you can become no more. That's it. If that makes sense.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. There's needs to be, there's no room to move if there's no
Exactly. There's
flexibility.
no room to move. And it's like a old tree. It's like a petrified tree in the wind. A petrified tree is stone. If the wind blows hard enough, it doesn't give, it's gonna break. Or it's gonna topple over and take the roots with it. But if the tree can do this, it'll last so much longer.
Yeah.
So
So the concept of masculinity, how do you think, has it changed in these times?
I believe it's changed. I believe it's changed a great deal. Masculinity is wow. There's a very broad topic. What's masculine and what's not? Because when I was growing up, a man wasn't supposed to cry. You don't cry. You don't, no. And what happens when you're faced with that feeling that you have no other form to let it out than to cry? Because even those who say, "Oh, you shouldn't cry. You're a man. You don't cry." That man up. When a man has to say goodbye to his parents, which we all have to do, that man is going to cry. That man, when you have to deal with feelings or emotions that are so overwhelming, you lose a loved one, wife, child, parent, uncle, you are going to break down. And it's just, I think we've gone from Cro-Magnon to this barbarian to this Neo type character where you've got it all sorted to hold on. These are just hats that we wear. And these hats have to change because um, a perfect example of that. If you like the Incredible Hulk, he's a mild mannered. He's a doctor, Doctor Bruce Banner. Bruce Banner is just he's a doctor. However, when he gets upset, he's going to become the Hulk, and the Hulk is the epitome. He's a physical manifestation of rage, and a lot of people see that icon and say, yeah, that's cool, and yeah, there's power in that. It's very powerful. But would you have the Hulk babysit your little girl? Would you have the Hulk change a nappy? You can't be the Hulk and change a nappy. You can be a Hulk when you're under threat, you're under duress. But to do something gentle, I think masculinity is coming to a point where you embrace who you are and you accept it, whether those around you accept it or not. I believe that's a true mark of masculinity, to be able to embrace the feminine aspects of all of us and embrace the male aspect as well. So, like it coincides with that the term the woke man. Are you awake enough to not be bruised by other people's thoughts or just embrace all aspects of who you are? Like masculinity. Da Vinci, was he masculine? I mean, have you seen his paintings, his works? It's like, wow. But a masculine man is supposed to build churches, and masculine man is supposed to be able to put a rope over his back and drag. According to whom? According to whom? I think masculinity is the embodiment of all of it, just who you are. Just like feminine.
Mm.
Feminine, you got to embody the aspect that you're a woman, but you have to embody all of it. You have to embody your masculine side as well. So, yeah.
True. What are your thoughts on the Black Lives Matter?
Um, uh, oh, Black Lives Matter. Yes, Black lives do matter. I think Black lives very much so matter. However, I'm going to get in trouble because I'm going to also say all lives matter. And I think I think to bring awareness to other people that that people are suffering and it's unjust is a great thing. I think that to bring light to um, if you're a specific culture and you've been awarded a lifestyle that you've you've privileged, as I would say. So let me just step into the realm of black and white. Okay, so if you're white and you've never been treated differently because of your skin color, you've never been treated, you've never been discriminated against, you've never been persecuted in any way, then to have Black Lives Matter thrown in your face, it's like, but what do you mean? Because you're so to the far, that's so out of your radar. You've never experienced. I think in that aspect, Black Lives Matter being put out that somebody who's privileged, somebody who's oblivious to the world that they live in, it's like, oh, this is what's been going on. But as a movement, if you look at the background behind us, it's the whole planet. And I don't care what color you are. I don't care what creed you are. I don't care what your religious beliefs are. We are all going through this. Um, it's hard to say, I'm going to take a stance and say, and this is my stance where the human race is suffering. And we're suffering because of our belief systems. We've been sold a bill of goods. Um, I 100% stand with Black Lives Matter. I know what it's like. I know what it's like to be treated different. I've been called all of the names. I've been called so many of them, and I don't want to color this video with the names that I've been called. I've been beat up by police. I've been beat up by, I've been verbally beat up by white people. I've been, I've seen things. I've experienced things. But I want to go back to Michael Jackson's song "Black or White." It's a lyric in the song where if you watch the video, you see Macaulay Culkin, but the person rapping says, "I don't want my light to get duller. I'm not gonna spend my life being a color." Mm. And the reason why I say that is because when we had slavery, everybody has been a slave. If you're from, I don't care what country, slavery is the backbone of our society. Mm-hmm. You find a culture that you consider lesser, and people that you feel that you can take advantage of, and you manipulate them into what you want. You build, and that culture builds the railroads. That culture builds the pyramids. That culture, all of everything we have has been built on the backs of other people. And then we bring people to our way of life. They don't understand it, and we beat them into create this because I'm a lesser. You're less than I am. I don't want to do the work. You do the work. Once the work is done, okay, we'll find something else meaningful, less meaningful for you. But I have a problem with bringing here. So here to illustrate just to illustrate it, you get white people who came to Africa. White people came to Africa and they were like, wow, the resources here. This is a beautiful place. wow, this is great. And because you're a chief in Africa, you say, look, I got all these peanuts, I got all these berries, put them on your ship, take them over. However, I just conquered these people over here, this village. I don't want to kill them all. I don't have much to do with them. You want to take them? So now we have a partnership. I'm coming to get berries, I'm coming to get nuts, I'm coming to get people. When I take the people back over to the other, when I take them back to Spain, I take them back to Italy, I take them to the UK, I take them wherever they're not abundant. Black people are not abundant there. So it's like, what do we do with it? We'll have them work. Oh, okay. Yeah, they're inferior. We need to teach them our ways. And it perpetuates. And this is going on everywhere. This isn't something that happened to Black people and only Black people. Everybody has gone through this. I don't care what culture you are. You've gone through it. If you don't understand that, read your history. We've all gone through it. And when it came to the US, once the Civil War took place, it was once we freed the slaves, everybody's all the Black people were going to get 40 acres and a mule. That never happened. We had lynchings. We had all of these aspects of our lives that were turned upside down. We marched, we rallied, we held signs, we made noise, we spoke out, we were beaten. This is in the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. Here we are in 2020. What are we doing?
I think it's still happening. Slavery is still happening.
It is still happening. And the reason why I'm touchy about talking about Black Lives Matter is because we had adjectives back in the 40s. We had adjectives back in the 30s. We had all of these things back then. If we would have got over it then, we wouldn't be in 2020 still screaming Black Lives Matter.
Mm-hmm. So the issues are just repeated. It's like we haven't moved on.
No, we haven't.
And I think it's a programming that has been,
of course,
put on us as humans, and with movies, and I guess through certain education institutions, the programming just persists. So I see a lot of just even in movies, repeated themes. Like they just keep repeating themselves.
Yes.
And yeah, for example, good versus evil, like it's just really black and white. Good versus evil. Yeah, divide and conquer. Yeah. Orphans, often the orphans get to
pretty much. And
it is the hero or heroine.
The scary thing for me, it's not even that it's scary, it's so the audacity that is thrown in our face. Like right now, you have they're talking about vaccines for COVID, and we have this vaccine and everybody has to be vaccinated. And if you watch the movie V for Vendetta, have you seen that movie, V for Vendetta? Have you seen it?
A long time ago. Yes.
But in this film, they created a vaccine or drug. A vaccine was created for a pandemic that the government created. And it's like we're living these films. They put it in our face, and it's like, and all we do is relive it. However, in V for Vendetta, everybody's marching, but they all have the Guy Fawkes face on. And when the police are standing in front of the barricades, the people, the police have their guns, and they're like, "What do we do? They're waiting for the order. Do we shoot? Do we stand still?" And all the people went right past the cops. They didn't beat up the police. They went right past the people, the cops. It wasn't, and it was like unification. But if you look at the world we live in, I had two girls. I showed up to coach on the basketball court, and I had two girls. One's 9 and one's 11, and both were black. And she was like, "Yeah, but all lives matter." She was accosted online and made fun of because she's not supporting Black Lives Matter. But she's a child. In her mind, there is no separation. However, that is the separation. Well, if we keep them arguing amongst themselves about politically red and blue, liberal, labor, they'll never come together. And that is the checkmate. And that's what people are not seeing. Well, how do you feel about Black Lives Matter? Well, oh, you're a racist. No, no, you're not a racist. It's we all are part of the human race. But the problem is people see the world like this. Or we're sold a bill of goods that turns the world that you see behind us and this into this. Black Lives Matter. You're if you don't support me, then you're absolutely incorrect. The world is flat. No, I think the world's and we're to the point where we can't discuss it. Um, are you religious?
No.
Oh, you blasphemy! It's not like why not? That's like I never thought about that, and we don't get to this point where we can talk about it. It's well, you're not religious, but I am, and guess what? You have to believe the way I believe. 7 billion people on the planet. We not all gonna believe the same thing.
So there's a real rigidity in terms of being able to be open and even curious about different points of view.
Very good point.
Like there's
Very
a,
rigid.
yeah, but it's like I mean I wonder why is it that people want to like defend their beliefs? Is it because they take it really personally, or they don't feel listened to, or
People defend their beliefs, honestly. I believe, and this is just my perspective, I believe people defend their beliefs to such a point is because that belief is all they have. Because we live in a world where today's world, you if you're born in today's world, you're going to come across a screen that you can flip through. You got these things in your ears, you are always plugged in. And because you see these images, you see this, at what point do you get to sit all of that aside and reflect? Our history has been stolen from us, it's been wiped out because those who win the wars write the books. Those who did not win the war, they don't get to tell their story. Because I've asked this question: how do you take an entire people from a continent where everybody's skin is dark? Everybody's skin is dark. Everybody's hair is black. There is no light skin because the sun is so strong there. Melanin, you have to have melanin to protect yourself from the sun. However, when you take them from their land, you bring them to another place where people are in power, people who make the rules and tell you what to do. They look white. They're all white. You go, oh, so this is the way it is. However, now you have to worship our God. Your Savior is now our Savior. Our Savior is blonde eyes. I mean, blonde eyes, blue eyed, blonde hair, and He's our Savior. And now you have all of these people who have been brought over as slaves, whether they were Native Indian, whether they were Native Aboriginal, whether they were Native, and they're bowing down and expecting salvation. So that if you can't look inside to ask yourself who, what, why, for what reason, you're always jacked in. How do you make how do you form a basis of who you are? and where you fit into the world. So if you do come up with a concept that you say, hold up, I've been thinking and I've been doing this. If you share that concept, people go, oh no. But if you kind of just ram it at them, now we got this battle going on. Because people have come, we have this society that we live in, and these things are accepted as norm. But why are they the norm? Why? Like, like the movement, the whole Black Lives Matter movement. Okay, I see that this took place, and this is it's a it took a guy to die to people say, you know what, this is not going to happen. However, when I see a video of a car being flipped over and set on fire, and then you see people going, yeah, how how is it you've destroyed a car, you've destroyed a building? How is that justified? What changes from that burned down building? What have you done to expand humanity's awareness of your point of view? And the recurring thing, the recurring theme is always violence. It's always destruction. There's a house close to me. No one lives in the house. But the first thing they do, the kids want to go in and smash all the windows. They want to kick over brick. They want to paint it. I mean, graffiti is one thing. Graffiti is a form of art. But to break windows, try to set the place on fire, it's almost like our society is defined through violence and destruction. Why? And like the conversation we just had, if you don't believe what I believe, then you're a threat to me. Why? Why are you a threat? How come I can't have a belief on this matter and you have another belief, and we combine those beliefs and say, that's a good point. I don't have to accept what you believe, you don't have to accept what I believe, but we both walk away with a point of view that expands it versus saying, like I said before, if you define it, it's stuck. It doesn't grow. Versus, that's a good point. I didn't think about it like that. You know what? I didn't like you before because you didn't believe what I believe, but after having a conversation with you, I think we should talk more about this. Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that it's that threat, what you said, that maybe all we really feel we have is our beliefs. And so if that's going to be taken away, that's a real threat to who we think we are.
Yeah. And I think we're afraid of change. Because if you take that away from me, I have to change. It's kind of like, for me, it's kind of like the victim mindset. The victim mindset is, oh, look at what you did to me. You didn't teach me how to tie my shoes. You did this to me. You did this to me. How you failed me? Versus, you teach me how to tie my shoes. And now I am responsible for it. If it doesn't happen, that's on me. And we live in our society that we live in, we're so dependent. Oh, my house is on fire. Call the fire department. Me and my spouse aren't getting along. It's our problem. We created a problem. Let's go see a psychologist. He'll fix us. And if he doesn't fix us, well, he failed us. Or, you didn't cook my dinner tonight. You failed me. If we learn to take responsibility for these things, there's no pointing the finger. And I'll go back to Michael Jackson, Man in the Mirror. The lyrics of the song, this is what the song is about. It's not up to you to fix me. It's not up to you to repair. It's up to me to say, you know what? Like people say, this happened to me and I'm so, if you are a victim, you can never accept responsibility. And you have a lot of victims in the world, lots of victims. And the thing is, the people who put these forums together for us to go back and forth with, they know that. That is why you have the Catholic faith. That's why you had the Christian faith, and that's why you had the Buddhist faith. And you got all these different faiths, which are fine. But once they're put against each other, it's kind of like back in the day, there was King James version of the Bible. King James and there's a guy Willie Lynch. They came together in a way that you had slave owners that couldn't control their slaves. So Willie Lynch, using the King James version of the Bible, came down and talked to all the slave owners. And he said, they're going to overpower you because there's only 3 to 4 people on this plantation who run it. You have hundreds of slaves. So you take the old slave and you pit him against the young slave. Mm-hmm. You take the dark-skinned slave and pit them against the light-skinned slave, the house slave against the field slave. And guess what? Now you got all this infighting. And while we're fighting amongst ourselves over who works harder, who works better, the system holders, the key holders, can still get power. And that's the world we still living in. So it's hard to rally behind these little causes and these little shifts when it's the same thing, because it's 2020 and we still marching.
Yes. So something's not right there.
Something's not right at all.
So what are the challenges for men, do you think, these days, like in love, in career, in life? Has it changed in the last 10 years or so?
Honestly, I believe that is, and this is all of it is just my perspective. I think that it's changed in 10 years. I think it's changed. I think it's going to always continue to change because love, relationships. What was the question again? Like,
what are the challenges that men face in the last 10 years?
I think the biggest change has been the role, because women's are, hey, same thing. Women sought for equality because, back men made more money. Men were, if you go to a courtroom, all the people in charge were men. All the statues you see of people are men. So men have to adjust their role, because we no longer live in that world where I'm the man, I'm going to go work, make money, you're going to stay home, raise kids, keep the house done. When I come home, dinner's on the table for me. That way of life no longer exists. So now it's more of a shared role. It's more of I have to give up my idea of power, my Hulk. I have to let you be She-Hulk. That's hard. That threatens. And I believe it's a threatening thing because men are taught responsibility in a different way than women. Like men, we're given trucks, we're given that hard stuff as kids growing up. Here's a big truck, here's a football, here's a boxing gloves. So men, we're taught we have to protect. We have to be strong. We're not the nurturers, whereas now men are learning they have to nurture as well. Mm-hmm. So relationships are taking a big turn because men have to go inside and become woke and understand that I have to be more than the narrative. And that's a hard thing to do. It's kind of like, it'll be like the whole world saying, you know what, we're all in this together. The whole world waking up and say, wow, we're all in this and we all have to find our way. So, and men are going through that. I think people in general are going through that. But as far as relationships, I think men have a, if you've been taught a certain way your most of your life, I think it's very hard to realize that your life has to change as far as a relationship, because relationships, we usually have a role. My role is to do this and your role is to do that. Where what happens when you're in a situation where the roles don't fit? See, there's no narrative, there's no script for that I can look back on. So it's like, well, then I have the map, and I'll sort out yeah. And it's hard to navigate when you're in the midst of the journey,
Yes.
especially when people are looking to you to, Daddy, what if, oh, I got this. Damn. So yeah.
Mm.
And I also think that men, our love isn't unconditional. Um, and this is what I mean by that. Chris Rock brought actually gave a voice to it in his tambourine show. But women and children, you're loved unconditionally. So if you're my wife and you have a child over there, I love you and our family unconditionally. My love is conditioned. My love is based upon what I bring home, what I'm providing. Because if I lose my job and I'm going through this, man, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? I can sit around and mope and be depressed for a few days. But after a while, you got to go get a job. But I need to sort out. No, 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 no. You need to sort out where the food coming from. You need to sort out from how we gonna eat. You gonna sort out how we gonna put some clothes on. I need some new Chanel makeup, and it's like, okay. And you can't let your family starve, and that falls on the man, because when you had the new, remember, I don't know, you might remember, but in the States where it was like a big thing where you see men walking around with prams and men carrying the babies, and that was like this big new, like when it first came about, people were like, wow. And then it became this big movement. These are things that we have to adjust. We have to learn to embody all aspects, and that can be hard if you've grown up. Yeah, man doesn't cry, man doesn't. It's almost like being in the Matrix when Neo found out from Morpheus when he said to turn a human into this, and he holds up a battery. Neo couldn't accept that, and I think that's what we're going through. We all are having our woke moment where we waking up to a whole new dynamic than what we were taught. So, yeah. And you see a lot of relationships are actually some relationships are thriving and some aren't.
Well, the divorce rates are very high, and it's higher than, I guess, that when our parents and our grandparents. So things are really changing, and
I believe that they're changing because when back from what I was told, I'm not sure how true it is, but from what I was told, a woman was given a ring because that was her most valuable thing. Because if you were the heiress of so and so, and I'm Joe Blow down the street, but I love you and I need to be with you, and we don't work out, you leave with nothing, and I've taken everything that you. Matter of fact, back in 17, 1800s, if a man raped a woman, the woman wasn't the victim. Her husband or her father was. So we've come full circle to how the dynamics of family works. Who's entitled to what is who, and these roles no longer, well, I'm the man. Well, and what that mean? Because You can go fend for yourself. You're no longer dependent on me. So you don't have to put up with the alcoholic. I come home drunk every night and I'm not happy about that. I can beat you and get away with it. Now, with equal rights, you're not gonna stake it. You can pull out a knife and, hey, hold up, what's going on? I'm the Hulk and you my victim. No. You don't. You choose to change the dynamic. You no longer want to be a victim. You don't need me. So to put down our old ways is a hard thing to do. It's very hard to do. To say I have a problem and I need to resolve it versus, but I've been carrying this character around since I was 8. I saw him do it, and it was a fun character, so I'm gonna put on that hat and wear it for the rest of my life. No, you've hit a brick wall. Now you're either gonna take that hat off and learn how to do more and become more, or you're gonna crash and burn. And nobody wants to lay with a victim who's all victim, victim, victim. At some point, you're gonna say, you know what? I ain't got time for this. And then, what happened? She left me. Are you gonna leave me too? I'm a victim. So yeah.
Uh, um, um, I've had a lot of women, a lot of clients who, when they've left a relationship, they often express how hurt they are that the men don't fight for them or fight to keep their relationship. In fact, they're seeing the men just accepting it, being quite complacent. And I'm wondering whether it's because men have changed or the roles have changed, but sometimes maybe women still have that, they want that fairy tale as well as I guess the new roles, the new independence. I'm not sure.
Well, that's from my perspective. That's a very broad. That's that's the paintbrush. The paintbrush that we're talking about is you're talking about kilometers wide, miles wide paintbrush. And the reason I say that is because as people, we will fight. Like if you take a mouse, if I go get up, I'm 207 centimeters, so I get up, I'm gonna chase a mouse. Mouse gonna run for his life. But if I back him into a corner and I'm coming in on him with my hands out like this, the mouse is gonna fight because it realizes it's either I'm gonna die right here or I'm gonna escape, and death is usually our survival mechanism kicks in. So as far as a man not fighting, that's where the broad statement is, because in the situation, how did the man see the relationship? Did he see the relationship where he can prosper from it, he can learn from it? Was it one of those relationships where victim? I've been in relationships where, well, I'm gonna leave. No, don't leave. Next fight, I'm gonna leave. Oh, after a while, it's like, bye. You've been threatening to leave and you ain't left yet. I don't want to see you go. I'm gonna see if you're gonna go. Oh well. So is it one of those they've been threatened and I don't know the dynamic. I'm not, like, if people have come to you and said that they won't fight, it's like, truly, what are you fighting for? And I don't mean that I don't mean it in a negative way. I mean it in a way of, if I'm in a relationship and I see value to that relationship and I can see myself growing to be more than what I am. Like, I value growth. I value becoming more. I value coming to a place or having something, and when I leave, it's better than the way I found it. So if I see a relationship as I can grow with this and it's coming to an end, then what do I need to do to maintain it? But if it's one of those things where it's been toxic, it's been because people know if a relationship is toxic. When a relationship is toxic, it's like, you know what, I'm going to leave you. Okay, that's an easier way. I don't have to be the bad guy and break up with you. Whereas it depends. Like I said, it's such a broad, because we will all fight. If we find value in a relationship, we'll work to make it happen. Whereas if she says, "Well, I'm gonna leave," well, you know what? What if she needs to leave? What if you and I are in a relationship and you're going through something and you need to leave, and you say, "You know, I'm gonna leave you." If if I'm not a victim, and I know that you're going through something, like you're going through some, I can fight for it. But if I know deep in my core that you need to leave, then you need to leave, and I can respect that. However, maybe I keep in contact with you, because if I'm still calling you, I might not fight and say no, but I care. So it depends on what's to be gained from relationship, because honestly, out of the hundreds and millions of people that there are in the world, and out of all of the people that are on Facebook that have 9,000 friends, out of those 9,000 friends, how many of you are really friends? Because when friend 872 says, "Oh, I'm going to defriend you," do you go, "Oh, you got 1 million followers," and two people say, "I don't want to follow you"? Do you get on your Twitter and go, "No, no, I need to fight for it"? What are you getting from the relationship? What is the relationship? Because if you said, if you called me and said, "Omar, we can't be friends anymore," I can't stop you from leaving and not want to be my friend. But I do see enough value to say, "Can you talk to me? Why? Why can't we be friends?" So it depends on the chemistry, it depends on where they're going, what their true plans are. But if you value the relationship, oh, they'll fight for it. When we will fight for what we want. It's like, it's kind of like the term, what is it, when they say, "I didn't speak up for the Polish people because I wasn't Polish. I didn't speak up for the Hispanic people because I'm not Hispanic. I didn't speak up." Finally, when they came for me, there was no one left to speak. You know, so it depends on the person's values. If if you my sugar mama, you take care of everything. I need new shoes. I need new clothes. You pay my rent. If you said you gonna leave me, oh, I'm gonna fight. Oh, I'm gonna be responsible for no. Why you leave? What can I do? How can I make this better? What? So it depends on the relationship and the value that the relationship has, and where do you see yourself. And honestly, here's another point. What if that person is traumatized?
Mm.
Like if you left, if I came home and everything was gone, I might be traumatized for the next. And what if yours was, "I need to get away just because he ain't right for me." So you just leave. I could be scarred from that I can't come back to fight. Because once you hit people with trauma, like the whole MK Ultras type of stuff, why do you think they traumatize children and traumatize people's mindsets? Because you can't come back from that without therapy. You cannot come back from trauma without somebody explaining it to you and breaking it down. And so from a traumatic point of view, that's why I say the brush is so wide. Now, if I can look at specific relationships and see where they go, it's like, oh, okay, that that makes sense. That doesn't. So yeah,
Yeah, so it's quite individual, but
quite
I think you
individual.
make a
Yes,
very good point. It's whether the person thinks, is it going to help them improve? Is it going to, are they going to benefit from
right,
the relationship
right.
if they were to keep going? Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think women or partners emotionally or psychologically castrate men in these times?
Are they? Repeat that. Are they straight to men?
Well, I guess let's just say, for the purpose of this conversation, let's say straight men.
Okay,
So
straight men.
what do women do, or do they do anything that you think, like with and I'm thinking maybe some of the movements, like maybe more radical feminist movements, but also, you know, maybe unknowingly, women are now going out to work, and maybe sometimes their masculine side is coming out more.
Yeah.
Do you think that that unknowingly, I guess, challenge a man's sense of masculinity?
Mm, like I said, this is another, well, I guess kind of a wide brush thing. But as far as, I think the challenge now in the world that we live in today, it's like, it's truly, the gloves have come off. All those things that we were taught, it's all malarkey. And it has been, because that way doesn't fit into this world. So I think with so many things going on in the world, you got to process it. And that's the problem. We went from ushering in 2020, Happy New Year's, hey, we got this new thing coming out, to Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant, we lost Kobe. And from losing Kobe, COVID. When COVID took place, ooh, that's going on over there. Ooh, and we watched it. And then it came here, it came everywhere, and it was lockdown. You have to stay in the house. Now, you in the house, you ain't got no choice but to look in here, unless you watching Netflix and just streaming and memeing all day. But for the most part, if you lost your job, if you lost your way of life, if you have to deal with the family, because if I'm a man and I'm masculine, I go out and I go work in the mines, and I carry my shovel, and then I do this, and I blow up stuff, and I got the crane, and I build, but I can't do that. So now I'm at home with my wife and my 3 kids, and I'm home every day, which I'm not used to. I'm used to be at home on Saturday, Sunday, but now I'm home every day. And now I have to take stock of what's important and what's not important. And I'm dealing with this stuff, and I'm trying to figure out this whole dynamic as a family. And now families are talking to one another. We're not, hey honey, how you doing? Oh, I'm good. I see you later, boo boo. We're having face-to-face dialogue. We're seeing different aspects. And now, as soon as we come out of that, hey, we're gonna get out of this. I've been stressed out because I haven't been able to work. I'm sorry I took it out on the family. Now we have injustices taking place. We have the police have been shown to, what was the guy's name? Arbery. Arbery was going for a jog. Can you imagine being locked away for 3 months, locked in the house, and the first thing you see when you come out is some violence towards now people gonna react. And that's exactly what we're doing. And it's like this man being that role model, that men have to process a lot. And I have a family to look after. I got to process where I stand, how I see myself as a man, and all of this stuff going on in the world. It's almost like,
it's quite overwhelming.
Very overwhelming. But it fits the narrative, because if you're overwhelmed, again, that's trauma. And how do you react to trauma? Violently. It's like you chase that mouse. The mouse has run so far, now the mouse is in the corner. So it's this loop, and it scares me, because I honestly think about, I don't know if you're a Marvel fan, but when I think about the movie Doctor Strange, in Doctor Strange, he flies off to save mankind, and Dormammu is this demon that's going to come in, and every time Dormammu kills him, he comes right back. We literally hijacked and caught into this time loop, because in 1966, with the Watts riots, and what was it, Rodney King. But we also have a dynamic where there's so many of us and so many things going on. We have to reflect, because if you've gone out and you ran into a mall and you come out with your Chanel bags, and I stole a Chanel bag, here, I brought this for you, and where you get that from? So you teaching your family it's okay to steal.
Mm.
See, that's one of those things too. And and my question is, you watch the video and you see the cop push the guy down. The guy. When I was younger, I saw a guy standing. I saw a guy in China standing in front of a tank,
Mm.
and he had bags in his hand. And when the tank moved, he moved in front of it. And that was one of those icons. Like, wow, do you really want to be remembered as that guy who pushed somebody over? That guy who took a cameraman and threw him to the ground? Granddad, what did you do in 2020 when all of this? Oh, you're that hole that pushed that old lady over. So, men, women, we got to redefine our roles, and where do we fit in this? Who do we want to be on the other side of this? So, as far as the original question of where do men sit with the whole, and how are they pushed? We literally have to take the narrative that we've been fed, and we really got to throw it out and deal with what is, because that's it's like this echo of what should be, but what should be and what is are usually two different things. So it's like there are a lot of pressures put on people, because I'm expected to bring food home, but what if I lose my job? And when not only do I lose my job, everybody's lost their job because of COVID.
Mm.
So how do I do what I do as a man? I have to redefine who I am. And it might not be hard if you got somebody, that your companion who's supposed to be there with you, who's in fear mode because they're traumatized as to how am I going to feed the little one, especially if they're newborn. If you're producing milk for your baby, you can't eat. So we're all in this together, and this is where we say, oh, look, for this situation, I need to be a hawk, but I'm gonna be the new hawk. I'm gonna be the smart hawk. I'm not gonna go out and smash. I have to change my diamond, and change is literally the hardest thing, and it's hard for people to accept where they're at, to accept that, look, it can change if we change it, but if you sit back and because it's like the family's been hit the hardest, and our roles are just all over the shop, and I'm sorry, I kind of got off topic about that, but I really think that we as a people are traumatized, and in that trauma it's hard to sort out what to do, because there's no map. We don't have a map to look at where we were at this time. We were here again in the 60s, but it's so much more of a dynamic. So the pressures are from everywhere. Where do you go to release? You got to go outside and scream. But you can't go outside because of COVID, and if you do, you got to scream with a mask on your face. So it's just a stressful.
And anything that's confined and pushed, there's always going to be a pushback.
Oh yeah.
Anything that's cornered. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, having again to be flexible, being woke, and maybe women, because I think of, and again I'm generalizing, but women want men to be feminine, as in not feminine, but to be able to talk feelings and share their feelings, and have that emotional connection, but at the same time they want them to be masculine and be the protector, and sometimes it seems confusing, I think, for the man. Very,
very confusing, because the beautiful thing is, you want me to be feminine, you want me to listen to you, and as soon as you tell me that something's wrong, I need to fix it. I'm gonna rip this and it's an S under here because I need to. No. I just need you to listen. That's not my programming. I'm not programmed to listen and sit by. I'm programmed to fix. That's why I have this hammer. That's why I got these tools. That's why I'm John Wayne. No, you want me to do what? Okay, I hear you. But all right, let's go fix this. It's kind of like the little girl. No, I'm sorry, little boy. Little boy comes home and his nose is bleeding, and his eyes black, and he's talking to his dad. And Freddie down the street. Let's go talk to Freddie. Not let me listen to you. Let's go kick Freddie's little butt. And if I can't kick Freddie, I'm gonna kick his father's butt. That's the bill of goods that we fix. But we have to go beyond our programming and say, wait a minute, let me listen to you. And it's hard because we want to fix and we feel like we're failures. If I feel like a failure if I'm just listening to you. And I'm just and that's truly what you need. But I feel as though I failed. So I need to go out now and talk to my male friends and see how they deal with this. Okay, my male friend said, yeah, I need to fix it. Now I need to go talk to a female who knows a little bit more about this. So I go talk to my female friends. Hey, and then your friend Betty, she got her cell phone. She saw me over here talking to, and she take a picture of that. Who is it? I'm trying to understand now. Not only am I a failure, I'm a cheat. But I'm telling you the truth. No, I wasn't out. And I told you in confidence, and you out there talking to her. It's like, whoa. I'm trying to. And as men, because we protect our own, I'm not going to tell you, look, I feel like a failure. I'm selling you short by just listening to you. So I need some more advice. We're not going to do that. We'll sleep out on the couch. We'll be out in the driveway. And then it's, well, she don't appreciate me. And I'm out here doing this for her. Now you got this versus just putting your cards on the table. Look, I don't know what to do. You told me that the guy at work says this to you. I want to go kick his behind, but you said just listen, and I can't. And where do we navigate? Google, where do you navigate? Where do you go? And we're not having the conversations that we should have. We're having the conversations that I'm going to control because I'm going to leave these aspects out of the conversation because I'm a man. I'm a Hulk. I'm the Marlboro guy. I'm John Wayne. But the world needs a hug. Everybody. So
yes,
we need to hug it out and say, but it might be still a while to get to that. So that's more of a better interpretation for that question.
Excellent. Now I can't not have a conversation about sexuality and porn.
Okay.
So do you think how much of, I guess, porn or sexuality for men do you think is natural or is programmed by society? So I guess like say porn could be a way of programming. This is what sexuality is.
It is.
And
it 100% is because porn makes the money porn makes because and it's addictive as it is because it's like it's instant gratification. And men, I honestly believe that at the start of our culture of marriage, when guys let's back to this is one of those. Okay, so when you see a group of guys hanging out, and you see adolescent guys going out, and then adolescent guys they go to the club, they're going out for sex. They're looking to let out testosterone. They're going out for sex. Okay, so I meet you at the club, and you're an attractive girl. I want to buy you a drink. So I buy you a drink, and because I bought you the drink, you belong to me now. You can't go talk to that guy over there. And I want to have sex. You want pancakes. You want breakfast in bed. You want the blossoming relationship. I want sex. Because as a man growing up, we rely on other men to teach us what sex is. We don't have someone to explain us our sexuality, how we express our sexuality. We've been watching porn. And in porn, the plumber shows up to the girl's house. And when he shows up to the girl's house, she's wearing two stickers right here and some strawberries down here. And she has licorice around here. And she's like, oh, the problem's over here. And it's this fantasy that is not reality. Because when you get married, your wife is gonna walk around with makeup on, high heels. She's gonna be beautiful all the time, and she's gonna want you all the time. She's gonna live to serve you. When you watch a male-directed porn movie, you always see at the end the woman has a smile on her face with this sticky goo all over her. And that is what's projected to us. This is sex, and sexuality means you're in control because you're a man. And she is awaiting your every desire. And that's not the case. That's not the case at all. Because can you have that relationship where a woman is, can you have it? Yes. There's two ways to have it. You can go to a brothel and pay for it. You can go to several brothels and pay for it. Or you can cultivate it in your life. But to cultivate it is to earn it, to create it. Saying, look, I have this about me and I want to cultivate. And most people don't know the path of cultivation because I'm 14. I've been watching Hugh Hefner. And how come he gets to walk out? That's gonna be my life. Yeah. So every girl I see, hey, yeah, I see you in that point of view. Where that's not the case. It's kind of like and it's sad because growing up, if you've been exposed to porn and pornography and this and this and this, it's like when a woman goes out and she puts on nice clothing and she wants to actually look nice. But she wanted it. Look how she's dressed. That's not the case. But you've been programmed to think that because if she said no, the answer is no. Yeah, but she wanted it. So when your daughter says no, but she's dressed with shorts on and see, that's when it kicks in of, oh, but yeah, sexuality. I think it's truly a double-edged sword in our society because every ad sells sex. You see a girl on the beach, you see the guy on the beach, you know, he's got big, and I don't look like that. And you know, my girl in my relationship, she don't look like that. But you should because you failed me if you don't, and now you're not doing all this. It's it's a fantasy. And if you go down that fantasy road, as a society, if we sat down and we talked about our sexuality and it's the unknown, it's that taboo. Because if a man's gay, he's a threat. It's like I'm straight, but you're a man, right? And you're gay. I'm not gonna hug you because you might want me. And that's not the case. We're so ignorant is, oh, you're trying to get at me. We don't know what sexuality is. Sexuality doesn't mean he has a hard on for you. It means he's attracted to a specific male or he's into male energy. It doesn't always mean I need to poke, poke, poke. And this is one of those subjects that can go very, very vast. But with porn, it destroys, if left unchecked, it can destroy the relationship because you go into every scene of your own relationship looking for that porn aspect and it doesn't exist. And it doesn't exist. It could exist, but it doesn't because I expect it to. I expect when I come home, you got on the 6-inch pumps, you shave, you wax, you got dinner ready, you have everything looking immaculate, and all you want me to do is take you on the table. Whereas that's not the reality of it. I don't consider what you went through. I don't consider that all these things happen and I want this thing. But here's the thing. I've been watching porn while I'm at work. I've been excited all day. I don't come home and say, I want to attempt this thing where oh, now we have a dialogue versus, well, how come you don't do that? Because I've seen that where people throw it in your face. See this? This is what I like. And the girl's like, okay, what you want me to do about it? Versus the conversation. Hey, I'm into this type of thing. Would you be into? See, now that's a conversation versus this is what I want, and we don't, and we're so. And the thing is, how many men are gonna put their hand up and say, "Oh, I was watching porn today." You don't do that, so we don't talk about it. So it's this deep little secret that you keep over here, and you want someone else to fulfill your deep little naughty secret that nobody knows about. So now it's the only way you're gonna get it is through the screen because you don't know how to cultivate it because you don't have conversations. And it's kind of like the whole react thing, the situation that we're in now. You see this and you react. Oh, what do you mean Black Lives Matter isn't important? I didn't say that. Now, all lives matter. But, and this is self-perpetuating. Well, she didn't do this for me. She didn't cook my breakfast with the licorice thong on like, oh, well, there's aspects behind that, but we don't talk about it. We expect it. And because you failed me, now you make me go out to this brothel. I'm going to get it. That's fine that you go get it. But imagine if you had the conversation. Because what if you're a woman and you're a powerful woman and you want to wear leather and spank me? But you know that I might be threatened by that. See, now we're not having a conversation. So women are left out, men are left out, and we got this gap. Whereas some sit down and we just don't talk about it, and that's the scary aspect. Because even at the nightclub, I meet you, girl, what I would do to you. Whereas you thinking pancakes, you thinking laying in bed the next morning. Whereas that's the conversation we have, and then the next day when you wake up, I'm not in bed with you. Why did you do this to me? You see, we didn't have a conversation. What are you looking for? Are you looking for long term? You looking for, or to turn it around? She acquiesces to the demands of what he wants because she wants this, but she wants pancakes. She wants it, but that's not what he wanted. And now you got victims on both ends. Because when you're young, it's just a notch on your belt. It's just, oh, yeah, that's a story I'm getting ready to tell my friends where I don't know what I did wrong in it. Because men, we're hunters. It's in our nature to hunt, and that's exactly what we're doing. We are hunting. Well, women are gatherers, and women are trying to gather so they can women gather and they keep for the long term. I'm gonna have this and I'm gonna squirrel it away. So whereas we just gonna throw that spear. Well, now you ain't got no weapon. I'll figure out something. So
yeah, so it's having that conversation, which I don't think we're very practiced at it. Like it's really,
I mean,
you're quite vulnerable, but you're really, opening yourself up.
Exactly.
Yeah. So maybe one final thing is, what can men do to empower themselves?
Wow, empower themselves. What can men do to empower themselves? Men can be honest with themselves, and that's like the first step to empowerment. You gotta listen to Michael and that song "Man in the Mirror." And you got to have that conversation. Do I like porn? Do I watch porn? How much of it am I watching? Do I feel emasculated? Am I reacting to this? Am I you really have to look at your own habits, because if you can look in the mirror and accept who you are and where you're at right then when you look in the mirror, then you probably done some due diligence. But if there's something in your life that you don't like, you have to address it. You have to address that which you don't like. You got to look and say, I'm not happy right now. And you can't point the finger at somebody else for your unhappiness. You got to say, okay, I don't appreciate this portion of my life. So what do I need to do to change it? And you really have to do some internal dialogue. And that's how all of us empower ourselves. Not just men, that's everybody. So if we don't do those things, then we'll always dance to somebody else's tune. Because somebody will give you some little, ooh, look a shiny, ooh, look another shiny. And we don't, and then I literally think that that's where we're at in the world.
Fantastic. So going back to within, going within, being
Yes.
honest with ourselves,
Yes.
being flexible, because
Very.
with so many changes in the world, we need to be flexible and maybe taking responsibility.
You
like
gotta take
who do we
responsibility.
want to be?
Yeah.
And it doesn't necessarily have to be the concepts given to us or sold to us. And yeah, any last messages?
Just take a step back, people, and ask questions. Like when I watch a film, people say, "Oh, you know about the film? How do you know? Why is the director showing me this? What's the message they're trying to portray? Why is this being shown? Why is it you can do a hour talk and you only see 4 seconds of the interview? You really have to take a step back. Okay, that's wrong. Okay, why is it wrong? Wait a minute, I only saw this much. Is there more to see? You have to ask questions, and because only when you ask questions can you understand. Because if you don't ask questions and somebody just wave a red cloth in front of you, just a bull running into them. So take a step back, don't react. I mean, react, but react internally. Say, oh, why? Ask why everything? Why is this being shown to me? What is the objective of me seeing this? How does this affect me? You gotta question everything. And the reason I say question is so that you understand. Mm-hmm. Not even what I'm saying to you as, don't take what I'm saying to you like, oh, he's got a point, he doesn't have a point. Question what I'm saying. Why right now am I letting you know it's a last word to take inventory of where you're at, where your mindset is, what do you want to achieve, how does it become better? Why truly am I saying ask questions? Take inventory of yourself. So yeah, don't react. Don't just let somebody do this and you react to it. Think about it. Just take a step back and say, and then go from there. From the questions, everything. What do I want to say? Believe 10% of what you hear and 40% of what you see. And then take a step back.
Fantastic. Thank you, Omar. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom and your knowledge and your experience.
Just perspective.
Another perspective. Yeah. Question that too. So yeah, thank you. And so Omar is available for counselling, consultation, coaching. I'll put his website address in below. So I think it's just omarcoles.com.
Yeah.
Yep, very simple. And maybe we could do another one if people want to ask questions. Maybe we can answer questions.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Bye.
Take care.